3, 4.
Rev up your engine!
Brandon Barrera says, how come Toyota and Honda can make good CVTs but pretty much no one else can? All right, because they have very good engineers. They are the typical Japanese philosophy, perfection over time. They don't build something that doesn't work and say, throw it away, throw the baby away with the bathwater and start all over like a lot of American companies do. They perfect things over time. So, as example, let's give you Honda. The original Honda CVTs they put out had lots of problems. A lot of them just fell apart after 30,000 miles. But that was quite some time ago. They found the problems and they perfected them. Even just a few years ago, they had problems with the shaft in them, wearing out, things could break. They recalled hundreds of thousands of them, and they did a software fix, so there's less strain on the shaft. But the newer ones don't have that problem. They found a problem, they fixed it. Toyota's the same way. Is it working right? They don't throw it away. They think, how can we fix this? And they have some very good engineers. The Japanese philosophy is not planned obsolescence like the American philosophy has been since pretty much the end of World War II. Make it, break it, buy another one. Japanese aren't that way. They want to keep things rolling along smoothly, have good relationships with all the companies that they buy parts from, analyze it. When there's a problem, fix it. That's really why theirs work better. They don't just come up with something and then, oh, geez, that was a pile of junk, throw that away, let's try something else. No, it is better to perfect stuff over time. Well, you never know what people will pay a lot of money for. A 1979 unrestored Ford Bronco just sold for $67,725, setting an all-time record for a second-generation Bronco. Now, this basically shows you that you never know what something old is going to be worth if you leave it original. This thing is unrestored, paint and everything's good. Somebody obviously stored it in a good place. California, that makes sense. They don't rust in California. It went for top dollar. You never know when something's going to be popular when it's that old and is all original unrestored. The guys that modify them, the value goes down the toilet. It doesn't matter if you've got a 67 Mustang GT. If you've radically modified it, it's not worth anywhere near a totally unrestored original equipment one. That's just how vehicles go. I was kind of shocked that somebody paid that much money for one, but, you know, somebody wanted it, and you're never going to find another one that looks like that, probably. Now, granted, they only made the second-generation Bronco for 2 years, so there's lots of them out there. If you're interested in collecting cars, getting cars that are worth money, maybe trying to buy one and make profit on it over time, that's what you got to check out. How rare is it? Unique characteristics does it have compared to other vehicles? Because it doesn't matter how cool a vehicle is. If they sold 500,000 of them a year, it's never going to be a collector's item. Porked out almost $70,000, which is a new record for sales price of a second-generation Bronco. Tells you some of the other ones are even going for more money. You never know what people are going to find collectible. Nick 20S says, in a study conducted by IHS Vehicles 2008 to 12, the following Toyota models had 0 driver's death per million registered vehicles: Lexus RX 350, Toyota Highlander, and Toyota Sequoia. Very impressive. Okay, it shows you a couple of things. The main thing is size does matter, people. It does matter. Those are all large vehicles. And you can talk all you want about, oh, they can make small cars safer. You've got a large vehicle going fast. That's kinetic energy of motion. If a large vehicle going fast hits a small vehicle, the small vehicle is going to take the brunt of the power. That's just how it goes, the energy. And it's going to dissipate it when it smashes in to the smaller vehicle and knocks it all over, right? So size does matter. The other thing is, so does quality and safety. If you have very good airbag system, and even though those are bigger vehicles, they're still built with crumple zones. If, let's say, you don't hit another car, but you hit something like a tree, the Toyota will crumple enough that it won't do any damage to you. Kind of a twofold process there. But it doesn't surprise me, because I read a thing the other day that the most deaths are still the smaller vehicles per million. They're way, way over what the bigger ones are. It's just pure physics. You can't escape that. Kinetic energy is kinetic energy, and the less kinetic energy you have when you get hit, you're going to be in worse shape than the person who has more kinetic energy. Well, those sneaky Canadians, there's a Canadian shop now that has cracked Tesla's acceleration boost. If you have a Tesla and you want it to go faster and have this boost, you got to pay $2,000 extra for it. Well, these Canadian dudes have figured out how to do it for about $1,100 themselves. He figured out how to swap a single motor Tesla 3 to a dual motor setup and figured out how to hack into the software in order to make it go faster and work. Also to add 50 extra horsepower using the acceleration boost without paying the money to Tesla for the software. They call it the Boost 50 upgrade, and they're offering it for $1,100 instead of the $2,000 the Teslas. Now, this company's based in Canada, but it's also partnered with Electrified Garage Rich Benoit of Rich Rebuilds. Let's face it, if you get electronic, high technology computers and stuff, you know there's going to be guys out there that want to screw around with this stuff and figure out a better, cheaper way. That's the game those guys play. Now, of course, there'll be backlash, things like if you modify your car like this, you may lose any kind of warranty you have with Tesla, and they might refuse to work on the car or even allowing to use their supercharging station. Who knows? All that stuff's computer set up, and if they wanted, they could ban your car. If they see you got a car that has this upgrade and you didn't pay them for it, when you plug it into a superstation, there's all kinds of computer interfaces, and they probably could figure out a way to ban you so you can't use it anymore. But it just kind of intrigues me that these sneaky Canadians decided, hey, we're going to figure out how to do this stuff cheaper so we can get all this horsepower, not have to pay so much money, told Elon, for the upgrades. You can't stop those computer guys when it comes down to it. Who knows how much time and energy they put in to figure out how to do it. They just like to do that kind of stuff, and it's only common sense that if they see a challenge, they're going to go at it. Well, BMW just celebrated a milestone. They celebrated the 5 millionth vehicle that has been assembled in the United States. So I guess as far as old Scotty's concerned, there's 5 million people out there who didn't do enough research on cars and bought a BMW. Kind of shocks me that there's that many people out there. And as usual, people always do crazy things with, milestones. This is an X5M competition model that's going to be part of BMW's historic collection in their museum. Nobody's actually buying the thing. Kind of ironic, nobody's actually buying their 5 millionth vehicle. I find that totally ironic myself. They build a vehicle that nobody actually bought and put it in the museum. I think that's what all BMW should do. Should build them and put them all in museums so people don't end up buying those endless money pits. Being an X5M competition, it's finished in Toronto red metallic paint. I don't know what Canadians have to do with this paint, but they call it Toronto red metallic paint. It's an international car. German car made in the United States with Canadian colored paint, I guess. It's made in South Carolina, where their factory is, which has also celebrated other things. The millionth BMW was a Z4 Roadster in 2006. The 2 millionth was a BMW X3. The 3 millionth was a BMW X5. The 4 millionth was a BMW X3, and the 5 millionth was this X5M competition. So they're making an awful lot of them, but they're not selling them to my fans, that's for sure. But somehow they managed to put together 5 million of them. They certainly must have sold most of them or they wouldn't continue making them. B-Dog98 says, Scotty, I got a 2000 Toyota Solera with an automatic transmission. My ABS light comes on. I replaced my wheel speed sensors like you said, but the light's still on. Is it safe to drive, and how can I fix it if possible? You're going to have to find a better mechanic to work on the thing. You said it was a local mechanic. ABS systems are all computer controlled. The idea is simple. There's just sensors on each wheel. They feed back when you brake. If one wheel's not stopping the same, it can modulate how they brake so it brakes evenly. But it's all run by computers. It's a complicated system. You got to find a guy like me with an ABS scan tool. Generally, the good ones cost $3 to $5 grand. Take it for a road test and analyze it. He's going to be able to figure it out because there's so much data that you can get from those. And there are so many, even trouble codes that not going to turn your check engine light on, but they'll flash up on my fancy machine. From my experience with that, one, you got to use the Toyota OEM ABS sensors. Make sure that's done. You got to have a guy with that machine to double check everything, to make sure that they're operating, because all the sensors are operating, and they're all reporting back. That generally means the ABS module itself is going bad. Now, ABS is a fail-safe system, so safe to drive that way. You just will not have ABS brakes. Back in the day, a lot of guys, when they broke and they found out that the module cost $1,500, they just said to heck with it, and they would unplug the ABS warning light would stay on, but then it just had normal brakes with no ABS function whatsoever. It's not particularly dangerous if you know how to drive. It just means that your ABS system is no longer operating.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.